And I'm just like, what? Like, are you, like, you're not gonna act like I did not just hear you say that and then continue on with your conversation like it's fine for you to just say that. It's Hey everyone, my name is Joey. If you don't know me, welcome back to my YouTube channel. We're talking about some heavy topics today, so if you do not like talking about, if you don't want to hear about, or things like racism or discrimination or all things like that trigger you, then I kind of recommend you hopping off of this video, because we will be talking about that today. I'm interested in this subject really because it has to do with me. And so I really want to talk about it, and you know, we'll talk about it. We're really gonna dive into this today. So if you are new to my channel, before we start, please click that red subscribe button and join my family and join the squad. And now let's hop into today's video. Now, although slavery has technically ended, it doesn't stop the hate and things like racism from still happening. So I hear a lot, sometimes people say, oh, racism is like, slavery's over, you know, slavery's done, slavery's out. I hear that sometimes, and that really bothers me because it's not. Although technically we're free, it's not really over. You know, there's a lot of racism has been really brought up even more. I can name so many stories, and we're gonna dive into them today, as well as like recent stories that have happened that have involved racism and a lot of things like that. And a lot of that, I don't want to say, there's a common misconception, I will say, that racism is between someone who is Caucasian and someone who is African American, and that's not true. Honestly, in my opinion, anyone can be racist. African American people can be racist, Caucasian people can be racist, Asian people can be racist, anybody can be racist. It is a common conception that it's just between these two races, and it's not. It doesn't matter. It's not specifically linked to it. It's people connect it that way due to slavery, and because sometimes some Caucasian people are racist, but it's not specifically only them. Anybody, in my opinion, can be racist, and so we're gonna talk about that. So even recently there was a man who was I forgot what race he was, but he was talking about, oh, he was Mexican. He was Hispanic, and he was talking about how, so basically there was a meeting. I'll start off there. There was a meeting because some African American football players were called racial slurs on Snapchat because they were on the football team and they were being called racial slurs and things like that. And so there was a meeting and they were talking about it. It was in the school. Hispanic man got up and talked about how he went in his son's room and his son was crying because he's enduring so much bullying at the school. And one of the men, and the man was Caucasian, he said, "Go back to your country." And so immediately everyone turned around and they were like, "How could you say that? You're racist. You need to leave." Some lady was like, "You need to leave," like just like that. It was so funny. She was like, "You need to leave," which that's obviously incredibly racist to tell someone to go back to their country. And so when everyone was like turning around and looking at him because he just said the most racist thing ever, he was like this, looking around, like he was so confused.
His son's experience.
I went to his bedroom to say goodnight, and he was crying because of the abuse that he was enduring in this school system.
Then why did you stay in Mexico?
You need to leave.
That's indicative of what
what these kids are experiencing. That's indicative of what our kids are experiencing. Comments like that. And that's, no, he's sharing a story right now, and that's indicative of what our kids are experiencing.
Parents in shock. They turn their ire to the parent who asked the question as Iriola tries to hand the mic over.
And then, so, the Hispanic man, I think, what was his name? Was it Adrian? I forgot. But he didn't get mad. He just looked around like in shock because that was said to him. But he didn't get mad. He didn't cause a big scene. The man had an opinion of him going back to his country. So the guy went like, he had the mic, and so he went like that, and he handed it to the man. The man was like, no. Although he just said something that was extremely racist, he acted kind of dumbfounded. That was hilarious to me. This was, correct me if I'm wrong, 2012, and I think it's the anniversary of when it happened is coming up, I think. It's the Trayvon Martin incident where he was shot by a police officer. It did happen in 2012, and he was shot by George Zimmerman. Now, the anniversary of when it happened is coming up. I think it's 23rd or 5th or 26th February. And so that really sent everyone into such an outrage, and it really upset a lot of people that George Zimmerman had done that. But it doesn't really seem like justice was served to George Zimmerman, which is why a lot of people are even more mad, because it doesn't really seem like anything really happened to him, and justice was not really served. Now, also, something I want to talk about is recently, I know you guys have heard about it, it's worldwide going crazy. The coronavirus the coronavirus outbreak, it is starting to spread. I think it started in China, I think, and it spread to, I think someone in Australia is now affected, and the United Kingdom, and I think some people here in the US, but not many, I think. But I know that it is starting to really spread and things like that. Like 11 million people were quarantined, and people are literally walking around with masks on their face and things like that. But I think some people that were in China wear masks on their face anyways, like before this even happened, I think. Not because of anything was happening, like just like to do it. But also they said like they think it came from bats, because sometimes they eat bats, and so they think that the bats is what is causing it. No one's really too sure, but there was 11 million people quarantined, and so because of it, a lot of people who are Chinese or like Asian or things like that, they're really being, someone who is Chinese, she was talking about how she's facing a lot of bullying and racism because of the coronavirus, and everyone is trying to stay away from her, even though she's not from China. She's from London, I think, and she went to China like 25 years ago or something like that, she said. But she is not even from there, but people are like trying to stay away from her, people are moving away from her, people don't want to talk to her because they think that they'll get the coronavirus from her, which I think is incredibly racist and incredibly, it's just racist all around. There's no other way to put it. That's bullying, trying to stay away from her because you think she has the coronavirus, even though she's not from China, even though she's not even gone to China in recent time. Now, racism is something that has been around literally forever. In my opinion, I'm not really sure if racism will ever truly stop. I really don't think that it can ever really truly stop. In my opinion, I don't know. I don't think so. But I mean, we can keep fighting it, we can keep fighting to it, towards it, all of that. But also another recent thing, it's not really recent, I think it happened like, well, it is kind of recent, it happened like maybe a year ago, I want to say. There was an African American man, and he was going into his apartment building. It's a really nice apartment building, really nice, and there was a white lady, and she was walking her dog. Now she came out and she was walking the dog, And so the lady assumed that the man was breaking in. And so she wanted to see his card. And he was like, why do I have to show you my card? Like, why do you want to see my card? Like, was it a card or something like that? She wanted to see something. She wanted to know something. I forgot exactly what it was, but we'll call it a card because I'm not really sure. I think it's a card. But she wanted to see his card. And he's like, no. Like, I don't have to show you my card. I don't have to prove to you I live here. I do live here. And so she was like, she was literally harassing him. She was literally harassing him, saying she was going to call the police. And he's filming her. And she's like, I don't care if you film me. I don't care if you film me. She's literally following it. So he went inside. And this lady literally followed him all the way to his in front of his apartment. She followed him all the way up there because she wanted proof and validation that he lived there, which he does not have to give her whatsoever. He does not have to give her any of that. But because she was Caucasian and he was black, she wanted to see his card. She was like, oh, I don't think I've seen you here before, or I don't think, she said something like that. And he was like, I don't have to prove to you that I live here. And so he walked all the way to his apartment door, filming her the entire time, filming her harassing him, until he pulled out his key and he went inside the apartment. And then she was like, I just wanted to know if you lived here. I just wanted to know. it would have gone a different way. It would have been a different conversation. We could have been friends or something like that. And I'm just like, is she serious right now?
Please move, ma'am.
I can.
Okay.
Do you live here?
I'll re-answer that question. Excuse me.
I'm
Ma'am, stop
sorry.
touching me.
The keypad is right there.
I understand that, ma'am. But
You can film me. That's
okay,
fine.
I understand, ma'am, but you're blocking me. and I
Into
live here.
my building.
Okay, and
Okay.
it's my building as well, so I need you to get out my way.
Okay, what unit?
I don't need to tell you that information. So excuse me, ma'am.
I'm uncomfortable.
Excuse me. Okay, you can be uncomfortable. That's your discretion. You're uncomfortable because you're you. I need you to move out my way, please.
No.
Ma'am, please stop touching me.
I'm not touching you.
You just was previously before.
I'm not touching you at all.
So I'm going to step in where I live
I'm
at.
not touching you, and I'm not in any way doing anything outside of letting my
Okay.
dog go to the
Okay,
bathroom.
and I live here and you're blocking the door.
What
You're being-
unit?
I don't need to tell you that. What unit do you live in?
307.
Okay, great. I'm on the 4th floor. Excuse me.
No. You don't have a key fob. You are... No.
No, ma'am. Ma'am,
If you have that, then okay.
ma'am, you're not security. You're not the property manager. You're not
No,
Mike
but
Herman.
I live here.
Okay, and I live here too. You're not Mike Herman. You're not Rick.
I don't like the fact you have your phone in my face.
Okay, I don't like the fact that you're blocking me for where I pay.
All
to
I'm
live at.
asking is what unit?
But you're not. I don't need to tell you that information, ma'am.
If you want to come into my building,
It's not your building. You're not the owner. You pay rent.
sir, you walked up on a street.
Yes,
that had-
yes, and I've already buzzed in. I've already
You
used
did
my.
not.
Okay, man, it does not even matter. Can you
Can
get out of
you-
my way?
No, can you show me the key
I
fob
don't
into this
get, I'm
building?
not showing you anything. And the second, ma'am, I'm bound to walk through where I live at. So.
No.
Okay.
Can you show me the key fob
Excuse me.
into this? No.
Excuse me.
No.
Excuse me.
Are you kidding me? Wow.
Call the police. Whatever you want to do.
Where are you going? Do you have a key fob that looks like this? You can film all you want. I'm not.
Is she kidding me? Like, that is like harassment and racism to beyond belief. You wanted to see if he lived there because you don't think you have ever seen him before. Huh? Who are you? Like, he doesn't have to prove anything to you, and that really, when I watched that video, I was like, are you kidding me? Is she serious? And that really upset me, and it's just like, I have dealt with racism before. I have, but I have, and did I feel uncomfortable? Yeah. Like, I felt weird, like, I mean, someone's being racist and you know they're being racist. It makes you feel weird. It makes you angry. It makes you angry. It makes you sad. You have a whole bunch of different emotions because it's like, why is this happening to me? All because of the color of my skin. And also, it's like the world is really changing. But it's like, let's talk about people who are mixed. Before, people who are mixed, it was like, okay, you have to pick a side. Are you black? Are you white? Are you this? Are you that? And now it's like, everyone wants to be mixed. It's like people are adding 25 different flags at the end of who they really are or what they really are. And it's like, before, it's like, okay, well, are you black? Are you white? It's like you're 2 white for black people and then like 2 black for white people, and it just makes you feel like you don't belong in certain places. And this is coming from someone who is mixed himself. It just makes you, I don't know, it makes you feel weird. Sometimes it makes you feel like you don't really belong anywhere. It makes you feel like you don't have a specific place. But now it's like everyone wants to be mixed. It's like, oh, now you're exotic and now you're this. I've heard people use term, I think it's called jungle fever or something like that, when a black person, someone who is African American and someone who is white, and you know, they get together and they create someone. I think it's called jungle fever. I've heard people use that word before, and I've heard people say that before, and obviously it's really disgusting. I don't know why people say that. At this point, it's like 2020. You can literally date whatever race, be with who and what, and all of that. You can be with whoever you want to. I still hear people use that word to this day. Honestly, it's like, it's not like people feel like, okay, racism's over. It's not over. People are just getting better at hiding it and being racist. Racism is not over. Even celebrities get called out for racist tweets that they have said or put, or things that they've said or said in a tweet or written on Instagram or Twitter. They get called out when it gets dug back up from the grave from years and years and years ago, and they face backlash from it. And sometimes it's not years and years and years ago. It can be recent. People get called out, even celebrities, for being racist all the time. Racism is not just disappeared and gone away. It's not like the world has just suddenly turned over on its axis and now everyone's different. It's like, oh, racism doesn't exist. We all love each other. We're all gonna hold hands. No. And you shouldn't let people fool you and think that because it's not true. It still happens. It still happens. Period. And these stories that I've even just told you, these are recent stories. They're not like old stories. Like the Trayvon Martin one, I think is like 2012. That I don't really consider that old. I don't really consider that too old. But the ones that I've named are like, what, 2 days ago, yesterday, today, I think. And I hear these terms, racist terms, all the time. And even when sometimes I hear Caucasian people say the N-word. And I'm just like, what? Like, are you... Like, you're not gonna act like I did not just hear you say that and then continue on with your conversation like it's fine for you to just say that. It's not. It's not okay. And sometimes people who are African American, they don't say anything about it. They let them say it. And I'm just like, seriously? Like, he's just gonna get away with saying the N-word? But, like, no. No, it's not okay. And I feel like people who are, in my opinion, African American shouldn't say it either, because it gives them validation to say it, because like, you say it, why can I say it? No. You're not allowed to say it at all. I don't feel like anyone should say it. It was used in a derogatory way, and it's a derogatory term, and it should not be said, period, in general. I don't think it should be said. Like, no, it's not okay. People who are African American and they go to a store, they get followed around. Not only by people who are Caucasian. I've said this earlier in the video. I don't think Caucasian people are racist at all. if you walk into a store, sometimes you'll be followed. You're like, why am I being followed? It's because you're black. Just to be like frank and just put it out there, you're black. You're gonna be followed if you go into a store. They're gonna assume you're stealing. It's like, come on. Like I just, it's sometimes this specific topic, it just really angers me, and honestly, from someone who's experienced it and from someone who is mixed, and it just, these kind of topics obviously interest me, not only because I can relate, but because they happen to other people and all the time. It's not like something that happens once in a blue moon. It's something that happens quite often. There's probably someone out there being racist right now as we speak, as I say this sentence. It's not just gonna go away. We have to keep pushing the agenda that it's not okay. It's not okay. We have to keep fighting it. It's not okay. And I just wanted to come on here really quickly and just say my opinions and my thoughts on all of this, and just to say that we have to keep fighting this, because it will not just dissolve and go away on its own. It's not something that can be changed overnight either. It's something that takes time, and it's something that's gonna continue to take time. So I just want to say those are my thoughts and opinions on all of that. I'm sure that was a lot, and if you made it to this part of the video, thank you so much for listening to what I have to say. That really makes me feel good that I know people are listening to me and they care about what I have to say and what I think and what I feel. But anyways, if you guys like this video, please click that like button and subscribe to the channel. Comment your thoughts and opinions on this as well. And also, do not be afraid to follow me on all my social medias, which will be down in the description box below as well. I thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys in the very next one. Peace, everyone.